I have two minds about the digital twin in our industry. One is about the asset twin. So, what I normally say about a digital twin is tell me what you mean when you say digital twin, because
Right.
I might have a different definition. And as you mentioned, we'll just talk in circles for a while. So yeah, first we want to align. But for me, there's the asset and like being able to see this, cat cracker or this, I don't know what other industries have manufacturing lines, for discrete manufacturing, and then see the process data, like what's the temperature right now and what's that in a model. So there's that digital twin that, and I think a lot of people think of that. I think we're actually pretty mature on that. We have a lot of really great technology vendors out there. People are starting to really understand. As I mentioned earlier, the CFOS standard is pretty well embedded. That's one of the critical things for an asset digital twin. So I think we're doing really, really well there. It's the rest of the project where I think we're not where we could be. And that's, I'm gonna call it the capital project twin. Like, I want to see, the key salient things I need to know about my project, without having to go to 17 different people, places, or systems. And so that's also, like you said, what do you call it, a data twin? So the
Yep, a
data
data
twin
twin.
about a
Yeah.
project. Yeah, a data twin. I don't see people talking much about that. And I think there's a lot of money to be made there. And I know that's like what we're here to keep people safe, but we're also here to make some money for our shareholders, right? So I think we're underutilizing those concepts for the full project life cycle. We're thinking about it with the handover. We build stuff and then we give it to somebody else to run or maintain. And so that area, we're pretty mature. Not that we can't do better, but it's the rest of the project life cycle where I think we're missing some work.
Absolutely. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was saying what a great experience it would be if you're sitting in the project manager chair for your company, ExxonMobil, and you receive a digital handover of the capital project data. So a data twin, right? A capital projects data twin. I like that term. That's fitting. And things like, consider as-built, right? If the capital project twin was updated with all of that as-built information, all the field information that, at some point down the road, somebody's going to have to maintain that asset. They're going to go out and field dimension spools. Yeah. Whereas if you already had that information in your capital projects twin, you wouldn't need that field verification because you'd have exact dimensions. It would be a true representation of what is existing and operating in the field. That, from a capital projects perspective, would be golden. And it sounds like you absolutely agree with that, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's the whole concept of the asset life cycle, all the way from design to decommissioning, right? Having that data, we've actually feel like we've got a pretty good handle on the handover part. So working with our EPC partners, we now have good data to hand over to our operations organizations around the equipment. Maintaining that data has a cost. And so the operators of the equipment, after you're done with your project, have to come to terms with the cost of keeping that data evergreen and the value. And so those are the conversations we have internally about, yes, we can give you good data from a project. Do you know where you want to put it? Do you know how you can leverage it? Because people are so used to not having good data that they don't even know what to do with it when they get it sometimes. And I don't think that's specific to ExxonMobil, right? But just in the last 5 years, I've seen massive maturity in the industry around that topic because we've put our energy into it. I would just like to see some energy transferred into the earlier in the project life cycle.
Fantastic. So looking at the cost of data and balancing that cost, because that's a great point, right? It's one thing to have a data drought and not having enough good data to work with. a lot of teams right now are facing a data deluge, right? There's too much, and you need to find the balance of what data is actually going to create value upon, handover of that capital project data versus what's just, everything in the kitchen sink just kind of dumped in and handed over, because there's a cost to producing the data, there's a cost to maintaining the data, and that cost needs to be warranted. It needs to create business value. Otherwise, it's just extraneous information that people are spending unnecessary time keeping up. So how do you balance that and create the right bucket of information that's going to create value for the business without inundating the entire team with just everything that was produced during the project lifecycle?
So right now, we are just taken everything we have from the project when it comes to equipment. And let's say we have 100 attributes on a piece of equipment, the manufacturer, the year, I don't know, model number, whatever's in CFOS. We are holding it all. We're keeping it all. While we talk about, okay, let's go through those attributes and let's figure out which ones of these could we leverage for predictive analytics, predictive maintenance, those kind of things. So we're in the middle of just going through bit by bit and understanding out of all this data, what can we leverage and where do we get value from maintaining it? But while we haven't figured that out, we're not throwing anything away because storage is cheap, at least in the short term, right?